everybody, it is I, Skinny Dude here, bringing you the next installment of Custom Card Craziness. Alrighty, so for this one, your guys' task was to make minions that were legendary, but costed 0 mana. Because we currently, in the big game of Hearthstone, have no 0 mana legendary cards that we can play with on ladder, rank, standard, arena, you know, the usual. So, they have to be good, but also bad at the same time, because they're 0 mana, so you have to play these all for free. These also would be fighting for spots against Wisp, Snowflipper Penguin, you know, the usual 0 cost mana things. But the thing about these is, if your opponent devolves, they could give you these 0 cost legendaries instead of like other minions. So, let's dive into it. So the first one is from Boss's Man. It's a 0 mana 1/1 Death Rattle. It's 0 mana 1/1 and it's called the Noob. So Death Rattle, gain 4/4, 4 attack and 4 health. It's probably like, what? If that dies, how do you, what? Basically the point of it is for cards like Feign Death and Spellslinger Umbra. So you place the Umbra and then you play the Noob, so it becomes a 0 mana 5/5. It's Death Rattle trigger. So that's pretty interesting. So it's basically like, you're not going to play this for free on turn 1. Is what that's saying. You need to have some sort of other like combo trick. Or some other, maybe like play dead for Hunter where you could trigger the Death Rattle, I guess. Okay, on turn 1, I guess the best possible scenario is you play the Noob, and then you use play dead. Then you have a 0 mana 5/5 turn 1. But, yeah, so that may be a little sketchy. But then it's a legendary, so there'll be only 1 in your deck. It could be alright. I think it could be alright. Alrighty, on to the next one. Next one was submitted by Crate Jesus. 0 mana 1/1. Furious Chicken. At the start of your turn, this gains +2 attack. So if you're fighting an opponent's deck, such as like if they're playing Priest, where they don't have, their hero power doesn't deal any direct damage to the board. Warrior, where their hero power doesn't deal direct damage to the board. Warlock, where their hero power doesn't deal direct damage to the board. This thing at the start of your next turn. So if you can ever attack with this, it'll be a 0 mana 3/1. And then it'll probably, like if your opponent can't play anything for a while, this Furious Chicken could just keep growing. Granted, it's got 1 health, so it probably would die. But it's an interesting concept too, because it's a beast. So you could play the Furious Chicken, Hunters could Houndmaster it, do all that jazz, pump it up big. This Furious Chicken would work very well later on with another card that I'll point out later. Alright, so thank you, Crazy Jesus, for that. Next one, there's a few cards submitted by Eddie, or Eddie in Action. 0 mana 1/4 Dragon. I believe it's a Priest card by the white banner in the middle. Immune. Whenever a player draws a dragon, whether it's you or your opponent, put a random dragon card in both players' decks. That's phenomenal. I mean, it's immune, it's a 1/4. Maybe making it immune is definitely an issue, because it will never leave. So you and your opponent will never ever go to fatigue, because whenever you draw a dragon, more just get put in. Right? So there'll never be a fatigue ending to this. And this is always a 1/4 out on the field, taking up space, number 1. Number 2 always can be like, it can't leave. So it's always 1 damage that can hit your opponent unless they play a taunt and do something to it. Because it's immune, I'm pretty sure you couldn't even target it with Spellbreaker if you wanted to. So maybe having the immune tags a little much, but I love the concept of, hey, if you drew a dragon, I get 1 too, and you get another one. Or if I draw 1, then it works that way too, because you're giving each player dragons, so it will start triggering off of each other, which could screw up some draws if you draw like Fairy Dragon late game, you know. So this card's pretty cool. And then he made another dragon, 0 mana 1/1 Guardian Drake. Battle Cry. If 5 dragons died this game, gain +5/+5. So if it's a 0, it could be a 0 mana 6/6 if you draw it late game, but 5 dragons have to die. So you could be like, oh, I'm fighting an aggressive deck. I might just play this for 0 on like turn 1. Or you could just hold it till late game and have it be just a dragon trigger for your Draconoid operatives and other fun little things like that. And yep, this is also a Priest one. So these Priest dragon ones will probably go hand in hand, because the Ethereal Dragon gives you ones to buff, gives you dragons that could die for Guardian Drake to get bigger. So those are pretty cool. And then his third card he submitted, this is the one that would work pretty. It would be amazing in a deck to see it with, actually no, I think they're all neutral. I'm sorry. Take it all back. I'm going to say that they're all neutral, not Priest. I looked at it wrong. So those 2 dragons, and this third one that Eddie submitted are all neutral. So this third one, 0 mana 1/3 beast with Wind Fury. I think out of all the 0 cost cards that were submitted, this one may be one of the most broken ones to an extent because it's a beast, so you can buff it in certain classes. But 0 mana 1/3 Lord Darius Crowley, Wind Fury, so it can attack twice. Battle Cry, give a friendly beast Wind Fury this turn. So if your Furious Chicken's still out, let's say it's got maybe like 5 attack, because it's been out for 2 turns, and your opponent couldn't kill the 5/1. Now you just be like, hey, you have Wind Fury now. Here's 10 bursts from this chicken. You just play the 0 mana beast class. Dude, Token Druid would have a field day with this. So would probably Face Hunter with Lord Darius Crowley. So that's interesting because it's a beast. But yeah. So thank you, Eddie, for those submissions. Those are pretty cool. Pretty cool. Liking them. Alrighty, on to the next one. The next one's submitted by Holy. 0 mana 1/1. Mac Gora Judge. This is a very interesting card for how it works. So Battle Cry, destroy all cards. Everything's gone. Weapons, they're all gone. Destroy all cards. Probably anything that's non-dormant, I would assume, goes away. Each turn, both players equip a random weapon and take double damage. So each turn you're going to get a new random weapon, you and your opponent, and you'll take double damage. When a hero is destroyed, so meaning like if somebody uses fireballs on your face, you just use your weapon and beat your opponent down enough before they can beat you down. When a hero is destroyed, the effects of this card is reversed, Yep, so it goes right back to normal, everything goes back to normal, weapons are gone, all that stuff. But the winner of the duel will discover 2 weapons, so you'll be given the option of 3, I'm assuming, every time. And then out of those 3, you can pick and grab 2 of them. Like, so you go 3, you'll grab this one, and then new options of 3, and then you grab this one kind of thing. And the loser equips a Curse Blade. For those that don't know, Curse Blade says, you will, in a nutshell, you will take double damage while this is equipped. So it's interesting. It's like playing a sub-game of Hearthstone while playing a game of Hearthstone. Magic's had these effects too, with like the countdown is set at 1. Like each player set to 1 health, and then depending on how it works, double damage is triggered. But this is even more interesting because weapons are involved, discoveries involved. So if your opponent wants to waste the fireballs hitting you in the face, that's the fireballs that won't be dealt to you before this effect was triggered. So they'll still be out of fireballs, I'm pretty sure. Like if they use 2 fireballs on you, I'm pretty sure they'd be out of fireballs. But they did it so their minions and all that could deal double damage to you. So that is, I love it. It's like a sub game. It's a different twist on the game, and it's a 0 mana 1/1. Very interesting. Awesome submission there, Holy. So these next 10 I think is what I ended up grabbing, was 10. So Torva initially submitted 23 custom card craziness submissions, and he's like, pick your best 10 that you like. So I'm like, okay, and then he said he won't ever do like 23 ever again because it was a lot, and I can't blame him. Alright, first one is a Priest Legendary, 0 mana 1/1. Marquia, Decider of Fates. Oh, I want to say, this is in no particular order. It's not like this is my favorite and then non-favorites are at the end. It's just 10 ones that I thought were awesome and would be interesting and mix up the game of Hearthstone altogether. Okay, so back to the card. 0 mana 1/1, Marquia, Decider of Fates. Start of the game. So he's trying out some of the new start of the game mechanics from the new Witchwood that was shown. So start of the game. Both heroes start with 20 life. Both heroes start with 40 life. No change of starting life. Chosen randomly. So either if this is in your deck, both players can start at 20, both players start at 40, or there's no change. But it's like a gamble, so you won't know until this triggers. And otherwise, it's just a 0 mana 1/1, but it could be certainly interesting. I mean, if both players have 40, Amara is just like, it basically replaced Amara, is what it did, but for both heroes. So that could, if the game's a control game and both people have 40 life, it could go a while. It might go to fatigue. If both are at 20 life, then it's basically a more easier way to take out other heroes. So that's an awesome submission. I like that, manipulating life totals at the start of the game effects. Next one. And I love that I caught that this was inspired by the Magic card. And for all you guys that play Magic the Gathering out there, you'll see what I mean when I show this next one. Alright, it's a Druid card. 0 mana 5/5, Possessed Willow. It starts dormant, like the Darkness would start dormant, shares in after it dies, the Portal. So there's no way to remove this thing, but it starts dormant. Battle Cry. Deal 1 to 3 damage to each hero. So when this comes out, it'll deal 1 to 3 to each you and your opponent. Whenever a hero loses exactly 13 life in a single turn, this awakens. Or is that triskaidekaphobia? If they're at 13, you can just kill them, right? Alright, so that was interesting. It's a tree. So exactly 13 life. I'm sure druids might have a way to manipulate that, you know, if you could figure it out. And then you get a free 0 mana 5/5. This probably would never be activated. Or people would make a certain deck that would try to make this activate as a 0 mana 5/5, just as like a mini goal for themselves, you know. And there's cards like that in Hearthstone where you want to try to pull them off. Memron's Head, like interesting ones that are like personal achievements. They may not let you win, but they're good personal achievements. Okay, next card. 0 mana 0/2 Mage Legendary. Archmage Tunnus. I think it's Tunnus or Tunnus? Yeah, we'll say Tunnus. At the end of your turn, reveal a spell in each deck. So Raven Familiar. But if yours costs more, draw it. If your opponent's cost more, they draw theirs. So a great interesting twist for Big Spell Mage to try to promote that more. And I feel like it's been doing pretty well, Big Spell Mage, honestly. I know Killer just released like a Jaina Kazakis kind of build with Nazoth to go to way into the late game, but played a few big spells in that. And there's just the general Big Spell Mage with Dragon's Fury and things like that. So, but your opponent would also draw their cards too. But it's at the end of your turn, so if they have 9 cards in hand and you're fighting a Warlock and Archmage Taunus triggers and they reveal a Twisting Nether and you reveal like your Polymorph, they'll draw the Twisting Nether and then the next card that they draw on their turn would be milled. So that just seems awesome. Trying to get around the whole mill mechanic because we're losing our boy Cold Light Oracle. Mid-April. Okay. Continuing. Next one, 0 mana 2/1 Beast, the Rogue Legendary Dusk Rabbit. This minion permanently has stealth. AoE definitely kills it, but single targeted removal doesn't, and you cannot target with minions, so it permanently has stealth. If at any time another minion on the board, meaning your opponent plays like Jungle Panther, they wouldn't normally play Jungle Panther, but if they play Jungle Panther or like Stranglethorn Tiger, if any other minion on the board has stealth, destroy it. So this minion permanently has stealth. If at any time another minion on the board has stealth, destroy it. Sorry, I'm trying to... What? I'm trying to make sense of it. So this could go two ways, and maybe my brain's just having a problem as I'm trying to figure this out. So this Dusk Rabbit permanently has stealth. If any time another minion on the board has stealth, destroy it. I'm assuming Dusk Rabbit would be destroyed. Unless destroy it means you destroy the other minion with stealth, and there can be only one with the Dusk Rabbit. But at any time another minion on the board has stealth, destroy it. So if another minion has stealth, it gets destroyed, is what Dusk Rabbit's saying. Or to destroy it could mean killing off the own Dusk Rabbit. That would be something for Torva to comment on after I relooked at this. And he may have told me, and I just may have forgot. Torva, if so, I apologize. But I like the concept of it being a 0 mana 2/1 beast for Rogue. Rogues don't have too many beasts. And it will always have stealth, which seems awesome. And look at it, it's a little black rabbit with red eyes. It's all like demonic. Alrighty, moving on to the Shaman one. 0 mana 0/2 Elemental. I'll get the Elemental synergy going on for 0. So if you have a certain Kalamos in your hand, or just Kalamos himself, and you're like, oh man, I don't have a Blaze Caller for 6. Okay, I'll play this. Your 0 mana 0/2 Majestic Formation. At the end of each turn, transform a random minion, could be your opponent's, other than this one, into one that costs 1 more. So it's like, hey, here's an unstable evolution on that one guy. We'll evolve that one target. Could be your guys, could be the opponent's guys. It's nice and random in RNG, which is nice for a 0 drop, being a 0/2. Alrighty, next one. 0 mana 0/2 Priest card, Strict Teacher. At the end of each turn, silence a random minion other than this one. There goes your Void Lord that you just brought up, Possessed Lackey. Or they're like Possessed Lackey, then you play Strict Teacher. It just silences the Possessed Lackey. Silence Priest was big a few months ago. More like December, fall-ish of 2017. Yeah, that's what year that was back then. 2017. So you could just do like Eerie Statue, and then if there's no other minions out, also play Strict Teacher with it. And it will silence a random minion, which will silence your Eerie Statue. So next turn you can attack with it. Granted, this could hurt your own buffs, so if you go Divine Spirit or Fire, smash him in the face, and Strict Teacher's your only other minion out, well, that just silenced the thing you just buffed. So you gotta be a little careful with that, but I feel like it would be more beneficial than harmful because you'd make a deck around it that could work with it well. 0 mana 0/2, very nice. Next one, 0 mana 1/1, Hearthlock Ash. This one was very interesting. I was trying to remember how this one worked. Hang on, I'm going to look real quick to see because I want to make sure that I get this one right. Yeah, okay. So, Battlecry. For the rest of the game, Fatigue heals the hero instead of dealing damage. If a hero ever reaches 30 or more life, that hero is destroyed. So you want to be at a low life total when you're in Fatigue. And then you play this guy. So you want to be at like 5, and then you'll play this guy. So then Fatigue will start to heal you. Granted, it does not change the fact that you can still lose at 0. Meaning, you can still lose at 0. So if you're at 5 and your opponent has a way to knock you down, then you're in some trouble. But so you gotta find a nice mix. This includes your opponent. So if a hero ever reaches 30 more life, if your opponent's at 30 life when this Battlecry triggers, it gets destroyed. It's certainly an interesting one though. I love that it's a Warlock out of all the classes because they can manipulate their health total, I'd say the best out of any. Alright, on to the next one. 0 mana 2/2 Beast with Echo. Another new mechanic being used on one of these cards. Battlecry. Deal 3 damage to your hero. So yeah, it has Echo, which means it goes back in your hands. You can play as many of these as you want. You could play 7 of these and take 21 on turn 1 and be at 7 health, but have an army of 2/2s. That could be a little broken. I mean, you'd be at 9 health, right? Because you take 21. 7 times 3 is 21. You would be at 9 health turn 1 as a rogue, but you'd have a board full of 2/2s that I don't think most people can deal with. Yeah, that might be just a little bit broken. I mean, people didn't like patches for crying out loud because there's a 1/1 with charge that shut out of the deck. So here's a 0 mana 2/2 that you can just fill your board with on turn 1. Oh my god, this sounds disgusting. So yeah, I don't think this one would ever be a card. But it's a rogue one, and it can go with the bunny. So there's that. I mean, Volcanic Potion kind of ruined your day, but I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that'd be significant on this guy. Like, that you could kill it on, like, if you coin it on turn 2 as a mage, assuming you're going first, then you could deal with the Ravens, but, oof, that just seems so tough. Alright, next one. Speaking of mages, 0 mana 1/1, Archmage of Mystery. Start of the game. Another start of the game mechanic. Replace a random card in each deck with a scroll. When drawn, cast a random spell. So you could replace their Gul'dan or their N'Zoth with a random spell. You could also replace one of your own cards. Actually, you will replace one of your own cards with a random scroll. And when drawn, cast a random spell. It's like Deck of Wonders, except you don't get the draw after you do it. You just draw it, and I'm assuming it does the spell, and that's it. And replace the card in your deck. So deck trackers probably get thrown off by this whole mechanic. And then his last one, which I saved as the best one at the end. 0 mana 1/2 Beast. Aqualis the Penguin King. Battlecry and Death Rattle. Summon a Snow Flipper Penguin. I had to put this one in. It was just so like childish but awesome because that's a 0 mana 2/3 split amongst 2 bodies. And then if you count the Death Rattle too, it's actually a 0 mana 3/4 split amongst bodies. That can be crazy, especially in the early games. So thank you, Torva, for those submissions. And if you guys want to see the rest of Torva's submissions, they're all on the Discord in the Hearthstone CCC chat. I just grabbed, personally, 10 cards I think that would be interesting and had weird rules that seemed like that they would make the game even better or make people just question the game altogether. Alrighty, so now on to my last 3 that I made for my submissions to this. First one, 0 mana 1/2 Warrior Legendary, right? It's a free card. It's a 1/2 Legendary for Warrior. Culfer, Loyal Squire. Battlecry. Your hero becomes immune until your next turn. So you can play that whenever, and then your hero becomes immune until your next turn. It's only a 1/2. And you would not play this turn 1 is the idea. Because, I mean, I guess you could. But the point is, they have a full board after they N'Zoth or they Gul'dan. You play this, you become immune. So they can't really play anything out of their hand. I mean, they can hit the 1/2. But they can't really play anything out of their hand, so their hand's filling up, and then you just brawl. And you just clear the board after that. It can also... The interesting thing is, I don't know if it would work for fatigue. Because would the immune effect leave before you draw or after? That'd be something for the game devs to figure out if they would ever make this be a kind of card. And I made it warrior specifically because they have tons of armor already to protect, to boost them up. So you could still gain armor, and you just don't have to worry about losing it yet. Is the thing. Alrighty, next one that I made. 0 mana 1/3. Wynmar, Corrupted Seer, a Warlock legendary. Reveal any cards drawn. And I made it a 0 mana 1/3. It's got 3 health as a 0 drop. Hello. Wisps for 1/1. This is a 0 mana 1/3. Reveal any cards drawn. And the reason why I made it Warlock specifically is because your hero power draws you cards. So, yeah, your cards will be revealed, but so will your opponents. So, would you be okay if your opponent knew what you had, but at the same cost, you could see what they have? I feel like that would be an interesting thing for people to play. Do I think this would ever see play? In Zoo decks, probably, yeah. The 0 mana 1/3, and you can see if your opponent has threats that they're going to draw. Hello? I mean, yeah, your opponent would see if you drew a Doomguard, but if you keep a Doomguard in your hand originally, then you don't have to worry about it. Or you play this last. You unload your hand, and then you play Wynmar, so then you can always see what your opponent has, what they're going to draw. And then my last one, I had to do just a little fun thing that I saw. 0 mana 3/3. So the biggest bang for its buck on the list so far, I would say, except for the tree. The Possessed Willow was a 0 mana 5/5. And Torva did submit another 0 mana 3/3. Okay, but it's a 0 mana 3/3, and it's called Little Deathwing. Battlecry, discard 2 cards. But it's Little Deathwing, so it's not Big Deathwing. It's a 0 mana 3/3. The reason why I made discard 2, not discard like a card, was because I feel like if you're playing a 3/3 for free, you should have some great impact, like problem, because you just played basically a 3-drop. And at the cost of playing a 3-drop, you have to get rid of 2 other cards. Now, Malchezaar's Imp will be rotating out in April. So, if this was released today, Little Deathwing, Zoo would have just a field day because they go Malchezaar's Imp, Little Deathwing, and on turn 1 they have 4/6 slammed amongst 2 bodies on turn 1. But once that leaves, if they don't add any more draw mechanics after you discard, then you might be in trouble. Little Deathwing can also help with the Warlock quest because it'll help you discard 2 cards. But yeah, so guys, thank you for tuning in. I see that I just saw the time and I saw that this one's going pretty long, so I apologize for that. But hopefully you guys will participate in next week's theme. And if you haven't joined the Discord already, make sure you join that Discord there so you too can submit cards and have them appear on the show here. And make sure that you smash that like button. If you're not subbed, make sure you sub. I do streams pretty daily. And if you join the Discord, you'll hear when I'm going to stream if something comes up and I can't stream till later, or if I just can't stream period for that night just due to schoolwork and things like that. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.